on the way. Hello?
Fernando.
I appreciate you calling.
We're going to be thrilled to make you the first pick in the draft here and welcome you to the dark side.
Thank you. Can't wait to work.
Hey, Trade. Quay Kubiak, congratulations.
Thanks, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great, man. Welcome, man. You can be a captain here, too. I know you've been a captain 3 different times. We need another captain here. What do you think?
Whatever you need, Coach. I got you.
Hello? Hey, Dalton. John Spytek in Las Vegas. How you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing good. How are you?
You want to come play with your own teammates, Dukes, in Las Vegas?
Coach, you know I do.
Hello?
Hey, Zeke.
Yes, sir.
You want to come to Las Vegas and be a Raider?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Hey, Zeke. Coach Kubiak here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Coach?
I'm great. Congratulations. Welcome to the team, man.
Appreciate you, Coach. Boy, you won't regret it. Appreciate you, Coach.
We're excited to have you, man. We need guys that can cover and take the ball away. Are you that guy?
Yes, sir. I'm that guy. Yes, sir. 100%.
Hey, Trey. John Spytek in Las Vegas. How you doing, my friend?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. You want to be a Raider?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, hey, we're really excited to have you. Love your toughness. Love the way you can play multiple positions in the same game.
Yes, sir. I can't wait. Hello?
Hey, Mike. John Spytek with the Las Vegas Raiders. You want to be a Raider?
I do. Come on. Let's do it.
All right. Well, you're in. You're on the dark side.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
We got a great plan for you. Billy, this is John Spytek. I'm on GM in Las Vegas. How you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. You want to get on a team and be a Raider?
Hell yeah.
Let's go. We need speed.
Man, I can't wait, man. We're going to go crazy. Let's go, man.
Welcome to the Silver and Black.
We're gonna rock the hell out. I promise.
Make sure you keep improving when you get here. You got me?
Listen, I got you.
Jamad, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Coach. How you doing?
Man, I hope you're as fired up as I am to get you here, brother.
Welcome to the dark side, my friend.
Let's go! Let's go today! All that matters is today. Stay present, man. 3.5 hours, do the together, man. It starts with us, it ends with us. Hey, no cheers! What we got?
Thank you. God bless. Thank you guys for coming.
When you uncomfortable, that's it. What do you say? When you uncomfortable, you grow. You're able to grow. I love that. I love that. Then my intro go crazy. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all might not like it, but I love it. What's good with y'all, man? I done bit the block again on y'all one more again. I don't know if y'all just saw the show we just did. We was talking about Prime Bo Jackson against Prime Genty. And somebody said they'll take Prime Genty over Prime Bo Jackson. And then Genty ain't even had a prime yet, but all right. Welcome to Bart, the Bay Area Raider Talk. Now I'm with my brother Twuan, man. This is his second show today, man. This is I think my third. So, man, please hit that like button because this is the last Bart of the day. Hit the like button. Don't be a fair Raider. Hit that fair and let's get it going. We're gonna talk about the special interview with Quay Walker and Trey Tucker. I haven't watched it all, so this is gonna be a blind reaction. I'm not sure if brother Twuan watched it or not, but I'm excited to see what it is because he and we've been going through the pressers and stuff like that, and like parsing out the information so that way we know what's going on in the building because we locked in, laser focused already. Frank Webb, what's good with you, bro? You was over there. You heard about Prime Bo Jackson versus Prime Genty. People just like current players over past players. Oh yeah, I can see that. That's why I asked him, how long have you been watching? How old was he when he was watching Bo Jackson? Because there's a recency bias sometimes. I was just curious. I mean, I wasn't gonna make a judgment on it one way or the other. It don't matter to me because it ain't gonna really happen. So it's cool. All right, but I'm gonna ask you, Twuan.
Don't act nah.
Okay, all right.
Nah, dog. Hey, look, cause hey, I'm not ready to shoot the flamethrower on a whole lot of discrepancies. I'll just say it like that.
No, I got you, bro. It's all good.
So
Let's get
somebody,
into it. Huh?
some people's takes is just is way out there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, for real though. Hey, it's your opinion, not mine. Let's get to it. The Raider Training Facility Camp Special at the Intermountain Health Performance Center in Henderson. Let's peep what's going on, and let's see what's going on. See what these fellas have to say. I like the content that the Raiders are putting out for us. Shout out to them, for sure. Thank you.
Along with James Jones and Brittany O'Hara, so good to be back with you guys for episode 2 of Raiders Training Camp Special. And James, this is the first day in pads. That's always exciting for the players after an off season. What is the first thing that you think of when you know you're going out there that first day in pads with a whole new roster?
Well, number one, it's going to be 1 or 2 fights. So that's why I'm trying to, once we go to commercial and all that, I'm trying to get over there and see, because it's going to be 1 or 2 fights. It's been chippiness all season. It's been trash talking in the locker room. Wait until we get to pad. Well, today is the day.
Yeah, I remember last year I was on a show and they was talking about Christian Wilkins, and I was like, they could handle that in the locker room because they can just fight outside during practice. And I was told that they don't fight. Like they don't fight in practice. I mean, like in camp. And I was like, oh no, that's where you get it in at, is in camp. Like you can talk all that you want to in the locker room and all that other stuff, but when you get on that field, because I was saying like y'all, they could have handled that situation if they really wanted to, if they wanted to jump him or they wanted to fight him or a situation like that. And it was like, no, players, players with contracts and all that. I was like, no, it don't even matter. That's where you get off where you mad at, is right here in camp, because there's been a lot of chirping in the locker room. And then, when you get the pads on, then that's when it's really real. So shout out to James Jones for saying that and confirming it. Because I know dang well that's where the fights happen, is definitely in camp.
So now as wideouts, we got wideouts DBs, we got a little connection. Hey, man, don't be doing nothing too crazy out here today. But that O-line,
talk to each other.
Oh yeah, don't be doing nothing, because I will start throwing punches. But that O-line and D-line in the trenches, oh yeah, it's gonna be some fights today. But this is what it's all about, and this is how we one step closer to being on Sundays.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the biggest changes here in 2026 is the defensive roster, and we're going to have a chance to talk to Quay Walker, a guy that came over from the Green Bay Packers, someone you know very well. Can't wait to have him right here on set. A little bit different duties, doesn't have the green dot like he did in Green Bay. That is going to be Nakobe Dean, but that gives him an opportunity to move around the field a bit more, which I think he's excited about.
Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, 2 best linebackers in the National Football League. All right, that's all 32 teams, and we one of the 32. This is the best linebacker core in the National Football League. And yes, Quay can cover. Quay can come downhill. Quay can blitz, but no green dot. Yeah, let's move him around. Let's go down here. But you talking about physical and violent, the old school Raiders way, that's what you're going to get.
So what you think about that, the best linebacker core in football?
I mean, they're both of those guys are very young and very talented. I think, I think he's a little lofty on his expectations, but I think we do have just those 2 guys alone. I think our linebacking group is strong. Now the question is, are they actually going to be healthy? You know what I'm saying? Right. Throughout the totality of the season. That's why for me, I've been looking at trying to figure out who's going to be the next man up, because again, with it being the next, with it being a situation where the next man up is going to have to come in, yeah, we're going to need that linebacker to step up and do his thing. So, yeah, he's a little more lofty than I would say, but definitely I would say those 2 guys alone makes our linebacker core strong, definitely. And especially because both of those guys can be a green dot situation. You know what I'm saying? Quay Walker can be the green dot, but he's not carrying the green dot right now because Nakobe's doing it. So there's definitely some versatility and some flexibility. Definitely those guys have communication amongst each other. So there's some benefits there, right, with those 2 guys specifically in our linebacking group.
Yeah. What a pleasure to have two guys that could carry that green dot. And if you and so Quay could be kind of like a chess piece for Coach Robbie. Like just let him go, play free. Don't have to be in his own head too much. Um, can also take signals from the Kobe because I mean, like it's not going to be a lot of extra communication because they already have that connection, and then he can essentially Quay can handle his side of the field with the communication, and then it won't get lost in communication between him and the Kobe, and then the Kobe can do the same for his side of the field, and 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 it's just a pleasure to have both of those guys able to be able to carry the green dot, but there's only one green dot. So, do you think they could be top 5 though?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know because I haven't watched these guys like that. I'm just going off what I heard, but what I do understand is they. I understand the N'Kobe Dean situation with his injury history, so I'm like, we'll see if they can stay healthy. Then I believe it could probably happen. I mean, just looking at the measurables, I think it could be possible. I'm not sure, but like Frank Webb say, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Justice for 12, my brethren says they make our linebacker core, but we gotta see how they do for us, right? Cool Cab, what's up with Cool Cab? Cooler than the other side of the cabin.
Also, one of the biggest competitions aside from defensive backs, and we're going to talk about the corner position for sure, because there are some young guys that are getting a lot of attention. I know you were checking them out, and you're going to want to see them in the one-on-ones, but is the wide receiver position. Of course, with Brock Bowers, you know who your number one target is. It's going to be Brock Bowers. Also, don't forget Ashton Genty can catch out of the backfield. So, but when you look at the wide receiver core, it's very young. We're going to be talking to Trey Tucker coming up. He's the veteran next to Jalen Naylor, but as far as on the roster, that's been here with the Raiders, he's the longest tenured wide receiver. And he's somebody that can do a lot of different things. And I think at one time it was thought that he's just the guy that's going to be your speed guy and take the top off the defense. Do you see him a little bit differently?
To be honest with you, Trey Tucker has surprised me. You know, you think about, a small frame and you see a guy that played inside and played outside. So, he's one of those guys that you could kind of use as a Swiss Army knife to get him involved in the offense. But you're going to need another guy to step up. The Raiders are going to get man-to-man coverage. When they say third down, they are going to get man-to-man coverage, and we have to find a guy that can win consistently because they're going to double Brock. I promise you that. They are going to double Brock. They're going to try to take him away, and we have to have a receiver out there that can win consistently. Hopefully that'll be Trey Tucker. Hopefully that'll be Nagler, but one of those boys are going to have to step up.
And, of course, the rumors always are if we go through camp and is there an opportunity to add another wide receiver? You and I were talking off camera. The only really veteran out there that could be a true number one is Stephon Diggs. And there's a lot that comes with that.
Let me see that rep.
Hopefully that'll be Trey Tucker. Hopefully that'll be Nagler. But one of those boys are going to have to step up.
And, of course, the rumors always are.
I thought I heard him say Nagler. Did he say Nagler?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Or if we go through camp and is there an opportunity to add another wide receiver? You and I were talking off camera. The only really veteran out there that could be a true number one is Stephon Diggs. And there's a lot that comes with that. So I don't even know if we want to go down that road, but we're going to have an opportunity to talk to Trey Tucker as well. And a couple of the storylines that we're looking at. How much does the level of intensity increase from today, the first day you put on pads, till we are, 10 days away from that first preseason game? Is this where it feels like it gets real?
Oh, it's night and day. It gets real when you're putting them pads on in that locker room. Yeah. When you're putting them pads on in that locker room, today is one of them days that you're closer to the season, but it's going to get real. The pads is popping. The DBs is going to be holding. We're going to be pushing off, vice versa, the defensive line. So when you put them pads on, you automatically know once you click it, click, you know it's time to go.
And this is the first time we're going to see a realistic pass rush, run defense. You know, I saw the defensive linemen doing drills, Max Crosby. You had Quay out there. A lot of new names. Malcolm Kuntz is healthy now. I'm excited about somebody like Tonka Hemingway, who was promising.
Defense.
When your defensive coordinator, Rob Leonard, who was promoted from defensive line, you still know that defensive line is a major focus. 100%. That's his bread and butter. So that's another thing to look for in these practices. I want to go back to the wide receivers, though, because that's your position, in case y'all didn't know. This guy led the league in touchdowns. And
That's still a little damage.
Yeah, knows the thing about catching the rock. There was a young man named Malik Benson who is a 6th-round pick rookie out of Oregon.
Yeah.
And whenever you hear somebody like Kirk Cousins, who was on the set here a couple days ago, bring up a name of a young player, you pay attention, because that means that player is on his mind. Have you had a chance to see Malik Benson, and what do you know about him?
I got a chance right now to see him move a little bit and go through some routes and all that type of stuff. I didn't know, number one, I didn't know he had that much juice.
Okay.
I didn't know he was a 4-3 guy. Watched a little tape on him. He plays 4-3. When you turn the tape on and you watch him play, he plays 4-3. He makes tough catches. He plays 4-3. I seen him running away from some angles and all that. I'm like, oh, so he has football speed, not just straight line speed, football speed. So I'm excited to see how he develops. And if Kirk Cousins said that, is one thing you need to know. I mean, he's been in there with Kirk Cousins.
He's been running. Yeah,
so
he
if
gets
you're a 6th-round pick and you've been in there getting some opportunities with the ones and you've been in there with Kirk Cousins, that means that you're showing the coaching staff something. So I want to see him compete a little bit. I want to see somebody get in front of him and try to put his hands on and move and get in and out of his breaks. And then Coach JJ will have a way.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely seen his game speed. I think he's fast already, and that game speed, it just shows on tape. There's a difference. There's a difference between 40 time, and there's a difference between grown men paying for other grown people bills, chasing you with incentives on their contract. It's just something about that game that you can run a little bit faster if you got some nitrous and some juice in your tank. So I think Malik Benson, that's his superpower. And I think he's a player that's going to play better in the games versus what you might see in these practices and things like that. So, but he is trending up. Definitely coming from a 6th round, that might be a steal as well. We might have stole the whole draft, actually. It might not just be one player. We might have stole the whole draft.
I think, you know, with I call him George Benson, but you know, Malik
I know,
Benson,
right?
You know what I'm saying? He's putting himself in the right places. You know what I'm saying? He's putting himself in the right spots in order for him to succeed. You know, you go talk to the OG in the room and figure out how he's making it. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, I think that's the perfect guy in the sense of Trey Tucker. You know what I'm saying? Trey Tucker has been you know, he's fulfilled a whole lot of roles. You know what I'm saying? When he first came in, all he was the guy that stretches the field. You know what I'm saying? And then now, you know, he's adding more. You know, he's relied on to have more routes. And you know, last year he was actually the wide receiver that had the most yardage. You know what I'm saying, of our wide receivers. So the production is there with Trey Tucker and the progression of Trey Tucker. You know what I'm saying? So Malik Benson is definitely in a place to see a guy that has been there and also has done that.
Yeah, I couldn't have said that better myself. You're right. He's putting himself in position. That's what you got to do. Put yourself in position. If you put yourself in position, good things can happen.
Evaluation of him, but excited for
we'll talk to you after the break here. But Clint Kubiak, an offensive guy, won the Super Bowl with a dynamic offense. We are going back to the basics now with some of these receivers because when you don't have a Jackson Smith and Jigba, right? Like he did, you have to look at some of the basics, the essentials, things like the route tree. Do you know the route tree when you come into camp? And if Jack Besh, Dante Thornton, remember those guys are just year 2 guys. Malik Benson, very young. Can you tell right away as a receiver when you're watching these guys out out here, even if you didn't know what college they went to, what kind of system they came from, what was asked of them based of their knowledge of basic things like the route tree?
Oh yeah, you could tell how they getting in and out of their breaks. You could tell, you know, the type of route stems and things that they are taking. Like I'm out there watching right now, and I'm like, we got to get a little bit better out of our breaks. That's the game. You know what I mean? The game is start and stop. Who can start and stop the fastest? And you can tell the guys that have been in a system to where, you know, the coach may say, hey man, you fast, you 4-3, you just run straight, you know, and really didn't teach them the route tree. So the coach is actually out there doing some really good drills and helping those guys get in and out of their break. Yeah, all that stuff matters. And then not only that, on the fly, you got to know signals.
Yeah, I was about to pause it. You know what? Me and you we are on the same channel, same page a lot of the time. I think he talking about Dante Thornton and Malik Benson. Malik Benson, he needs to work on his breaks. You know, he can stretch the field, but we might need him to do some, you know, China routes or some other routes too. And you can tell the receivers that's used to that. I think Jack Best, you can tell that he run various routes. We just need him to show and prove on the field that he can actually run that. Was I right or was I off?
I wasn't really I really wasn't focused on Benson, because you know he's a rookie and he just got on the squad, but definitely Dante Thornton, because I've heard, you know, actually this today at camp, Dante Thornton was not the business.
Yeah.
For that reason. So, you know, obviously these guys got, you know, they got the reports and they know a little bit of the inside stuff. So that's why it's important to listen to these guys, because, you know, they're seeing stuff that may not necessarily be reported, you know what I'm saying, all the way. You know what I'm saying? They might allude to something that you gotta, you know, put some pieces together on, and that's that. So yeah, I think personally, I think he was more leaning more towards Dante Thornton.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think he was talking about Dante Thornton, but I threw in Benson in there because that is my only concern, if you will, when it comes to him.
Got it.
Everything else, I like what I see with him. And then you got to be crisp in those routes, because those extra steps you take, the closing speed in the NFL is crazy. It's crazy. Let me see, how many catches did Betch have last year? I think he had 20 catches with 29 targets and like 220 yards or something like that.
Let me look it up.
You know, the play changes. You break the huddle with one play,
Just let me know.
You get to the line of scrimmage, it's another play. Press coverage, walks up, quarterback sigs you another signal, you know? So you got to be ready for all of that. And I think when you watch these young fellas out here, you can see them speeding up a little bit, but you can also see them still kind of learning and all that type of stuff. So it'll be a learning curve for this group, but I think we'll get better and we'll find somebody that could really play and make some plays on the outside.
So Jack Best had 20 receptions. He played all 16 games, and his receiving yards were 224.
Mm-hmm. Your boy Black is on point like Stacey Adams.
Yards per average was 11.2. So that's why, you know, a lot of us, when we were talking about Jack Best, we were always talking about he's always getting first downs, because it always seemed like when Jack Best was catching the ball, it was a first down.
And let's not sleep on the experience of him actually being on the field 16 games.
So he
was a rookie, so I mean he still was on the field. He just didn't jump off the screen.
So 20 receptions out of 29 targets.
Oh, your boy, you hit the like button for your boy one time. Hit the like button for your boy.
Yeah.
And hit the like button for your boy Twuan for looking it up for us actually.
Really quickly, if you're a wide receivers coach, what makes a wide out ready? That you say we can plug him in
Number one, I need to know that he can handle the playbook and handle the calls. That's number one. You know, I remember when I was coming out and I was a rookie, they made us learn every position. X, Z, zebra, Y. We had to learn them all. So now once you learn them all, that lets me know, okay, you understand the playbook, you can play fast. And then after that, like I said, it's change of direction. The best football player, especially at wide receiver, stop and go the fastest. It's not the ones that run straight the fastest. It's the one that stop and go the fastest. So you got to be able to get in and out of the breaks. And then at the end of the day, like I tell the young fellas, there's a lot of dudes in the National Football League that don't run good routes. But you know what they do? Go get that ball.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, at the wide receiver, your route may be ugly. You may not know what you're doing. If that ball comes to you, go get that ball.
You got to catch it.
Yep.
I know that when you first came into the league, you had to go up in camp against, future Hall of Famer and Charles Woodson when you first came to the Packers.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, as a rookie receiver coming in some of these camp battles, how you learn really quick as a receiver where you stand going up against grown men.
Yeah, so I actually had Al Harris, who's a Packers Hall of Famer. Tremont Williams, who's a Packers Hall of Famer.
You're like, hi, I'm from San Jose State. I'm a third rounder.
What's up, fellas? You know,
I think I'm pretty good.
You know what I mean? Nice to meet you guys. Can't wait to compete against you guys. And then you had Charles Woodson, NFL Hall of Famer. When I first went up against Charles Woodson, we're doing one-on-ones, right? This is a true story, right? So we're doing one-on-ones, and Charles Woodson jumps up there. So in my mind, young kid from San Jose State, I'm about to, I'm finna show the world what I got. Charles Woodson right here.
Put it on him.
Watch this, right? So he's off coverage at about 7 yards. He playing cover 3. I come off the ball. My head is down. I'm digging, and I'm running as fast as I can. And one thing I prided myself on is getting in and out of my breaks. So it probably was the best break that I've ever had in my life. And I get out of the break, and in my mind, I'm like, I just killed Charles Woodson. And Aaron threw the ball. And I'm about to catch it. Aaron Rodgers threw the ball, and I'm about to catch it. And C. Wood comes in front of me, and he picks the ball off. So 2 things went in my mind right there. Number one is,
I told y'all about that NFL closing speed. He was 7 yards off. Let you do all your little fancy footwork and your breaks and all that. He looking for a key. And as soon as he get the key, he opening that door.
I'm about to get cut. I'm not good enough to play in this league because that was my best.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, if that's my best and he picked that off, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to play in this league. But number 2, I went and I asked Charles Woodson, I said, hey, man, I said, that was my best stuff. I said, you broke on my route and picked it off. I said, what gave it away? And he was like, JJ, you came off running with your head down. So I knew you was counting steps. I knew you wasn't about to go deep. And I'm like, oh, shoot.
That's the difference.
That's a key. I told you they look for keys. Let me tell y'all something. Before I was Black the quarterback, I was a wide receiver. I'm a way better wide receiver than quarterback for sure. I was nice at quarterback. I was okay at quarterback. Let me say that. I've won a championship as a quarterback. I was okay as quarterback. But as a wide receiver, I was Timothy McVeigh. Blowing it up. No lie.
Dudes are students of the game like that. So after that, ever since that point, I looked every DB in the eye, running straight, getting in and out of my break, and then, my career's history. But that's the type of stuff that we need to see out here. You know what I mean? When guys are able to learn on the fly and able to adjust on the fly and then pick these dudes' brain. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't care who, hey, man, you D'd me up on that one. What'd I do? Did I lean this way a little bit, gave it away? Was my head down that gave it away? Did I have a bad break? Like, talk, because that's what's going to make you better and be able to win on Sundays.
Yeah, no, Eric Allen was on the show last week, and he said that is something that he took advantage of as a defensive back in camp. He would always go talk to the quarterbacks and be like, what did you see? Where did you see me? How can I adjust? So the communication is important. Lastly, talking about some of these young defensive backs, there's a guy named Hezekiah.
What's that?
The fact that, this is their opportunity to ask those questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you cooked me, but how did you cook me? You know what I'm saying? Like, figure it out and then come in, and say, hey, that ain't how you gonna beat me, You know what I'm saying? Again, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, like he said, don't be afraid. You know, for him, that was his learning experience with Charles Woodson. Like, hey, tell me what happened. You know what I'm saying? Tell me what you were seeing. And then he learned, okay, that was the adjustment I need to make. So, that's what these young guys got to do. Like, yeah, you're going to get cooked. Yes, you're going to get beat. Yeah, you know, whatever you want to get toasted or roasted or however you want to phrase it. But what are you learning from that? Are you asking somebody to, you know, what were they seeing? You know what I'm saying? And again, if I'm a wide receiver, these corners, they ain't gonna hold back from you, because ultimately the goal is to win, right? So if I can tell my wide receiver something to make him better, so when we do go into week 2 and week 5 and week 12, you know what I'm saying, he ain't getting beat up by the same thing that I was beating him up in camp, so be it. Like that's why, you know what I'm saying, that's why, you know, the phrase iron sharpens iron. Like, yeah, sometimes you got to give somebody, you know, it's not always a competition in that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you need to give them some games so it makes you better. You know what I'm saying? You might need to help them out so they can be better in order for you to get even better. So.
Yeah, Cool Kev said, man, don't give away all the secrets. Yeah, you don't give them all the secrets. You teach them everything they know, not everything you know. Because you got to have a trick or two in your bag, because you ain't lying. You might mess around and have to play them in another for another team and stuff like that. So I do feel you on that. Cool Kev, just we the people was good with it. Let's see, Al's Ghost, what's good with you? What's good with Al's Ghost? I like that name. I love that name, actually. Salute and prayers up. Yes, absolutely. At all times, I receive it.
Massis, who's a 5th rounder out of Cal. And usually 5th rounders don't get a lot of burn with the ones. And he has been, because there is a position battle for sure to play across of Eric Stokes. And you got, you know, a veteran like Darian Porter, who's still very young as well, just in his 2nd year. And then Jermod McCoy, who was a higher draft pick. What have you seen from him, and why are people talking about him? I was trying to find number 35 just because everybody was talking about him.
Yeah, well, it ain't hard to find number 35, because I seen him. He tie his shoes standing up. He every bit of 6 feet. So as a receiver, one thing you do not like is
that means long arms for people that couldn't put together. He has long arms.
Tie his shoes standing up. But one thing as a receiver, you are taught to eat the space up of the DB. What we hate is when the DB's arms is super long, because it's like, coach, you telling me to eat up the space, but he touching me from 2 yards away. How am I going to eat the space up? So when I was just watching him right now and looking at him right now, I'm like, oh my gosh. So when he walks out here, obviously he passed the eyeball test, and then I see how long his arms are, because as a receiver, I'm looking, you know, that's part of my scouting report. And I seen that, I've said, oh my goodness. So I'm assuming he's out here putting hands on people, you know what I mean, and really making it hard and difficult on him, because he's big and long. So I'm excited. Like I said, I want to go out here and see some of these one-on-ones, see some of these team peers to see how he's moving. And then, you know, I'm going to be a scout one day, as you know. You know what I mean? You talked about that. So, you know, I'll give my
I say offensive coordinator, but I just aim high for you, James.
You know?
I have high hopes. All right, we're going to take a break here. Raiders training camp. We're going to sneak outside, check out some of the team periods right now. Coming up, we're going to be talking to Quay Walker, new linebacker for the Raiders. Stick with us. We'll be right back here from Raiders training camp.
Partnered with the Raiders organization when they moved the organization, but this
team, and it's cool of the Raiders.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out. It means a lot to me and then all the other rookies. We really appreciate everybody's support here. It runs deep.
Updates and observations from the Raiders.
The nation.
Over from the Green Bay Raiders training camp here in Henderson, Nevada. And one of the newest members of the Raiders, and I know Raider Nation is excited to have him, Quay Walker, linebacker, came over from the Green Bay Packers. And first of all, welcome. So glad to have you in Las Vegas. There is nothing a linebacker likes more than hitting people. So first day of pads, are you like, oh, finally?
Yeah.
What is it like that? The first hit of the day, just like, okay, football's back?
Yeah, it kind of allow you just to calm down a little bit, because, you know, you just run around with T-shirts and helmets on. So it kind of bring you back to, you know what I'm saying, the full season or whatever the case may be, especially at linebacker. Our position is just based off violence and everything like that. So kind of settle you down a little bit, but then again, got to kind of be aware, you know what I'm saying, depending on the drill. Say, for instance, it's a team drill. They might hit you with a play action. You're just so anxious to get down and smack some. So it's kind of smooth, you know what I'm saying? It's a great feeling, though, to put the pads back on.
Man, it's good to hear you talk violence and all that type of stuff. You see, he said he put them pads on after play action. We coming down here to smack something. I love it. Now, just talk to us a little bit about your change, man. Hey, I spent 7 years at the Packers before I came to the Raiders. Obviously, this was not here. I was in Alameda.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A little different training camp.
Let's talk to us a little bit about the change, man. Drafted to the Packers, and then you come here in free agency, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's kind of like it was I'll say a huge turnaround, you know what I'm saying, coming from Green Bay to here. But honestly, it's been everything that I expected it to be. It's a difference from a weather change. You already know how that is, you know what I'm saying? So it probably get high 90s, at least low 90s in Green Bay. Here, it's way, way different. So, man, it's been pretty good, man. Everybody done embraced me welcome me with open arms and everything like that. So it's been pretty well, you know what I'm saying? Just still trying to get accustomed to everything here in Vegas. My first time living on the West Coast, so living just in the, you know what I'm saying, a big city. So I'm just trying to get used to that. Other than that, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, the neon lights are pretty bright here in Vegas, so it is quite a big city. But you are being asked to, or allowed to do a lot more, it seems like, and use your versatility. From what we understand, not wearing the green dot like you did in Green Bay. So how does that kind of free you up to not have to maybe even think as much and then be able to move you around a little bit more?
I really don't want to say it's kind of easier for me or that's what I want, but it kind of freed me up, like you just said, a little bit, just because I don't have that responsibility of listening to the call, getting the call. Well, I kind of do, but just to the fact where I got to control the whole defense, other 10 guys depending on me, kind of free me up a little bit. And I think I'm at my best when I don't have to do too much thinking. And I kind of try to be careful with saying that because I play linebacker. It requires a lot of thinking, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that I'm running from that, but I'm at my best when I just, I'm able to go, you know what I'm saying? So
simplified.
Yeah, that's it.
It's, see guy, hit guy.
Yeah, that's it.
See ball, get ball.
Get ball.
And we all know too, man, when you're able to just not think and play fast, you're a much better player.
For sure.
Talk to us a little bit about your brother in crime next to you, Nakobe Dean, right?
Oh, man.
Georgia
Bulldogs.
And then now y'all back here, just talk to us a little bit about that communication too, or sometimes, me and Aaron played together so long, he could look at me and I'm like, I got you. I already know what's up. Just talk to us a little bit about that chemistry and that connection with you.
It's kind of similar, man. You know what I'm saying? Although it's been about 4 years now since we don't play, so we're still trying to get everything back down pat. But it's something that we already installed in both of one another. You know what I'm saying? I had that when I was with him at Georgia, so I kind of know what he's thinking. He kind of know what I'm thinking. But we're still just trying to get back to the used to feeling the playing with one another. Yeah. But other than that, man, the communication's still there. The connection between one of us. The both of us is still there. So just trying to continue to build and get better to a standpoint. The more and more we practice and everything, the better we'll be.
Talk to us a little bit about the young quarterback. You was with a young Jordan Love, so you kind of seen him grow, seen him get better each year. Obviously, as a defender going against him, what's kind of some of the things that you seen, like, man, he going to be all right or he going to be a good player? Because I seen him today, and usually I just look at how it's coming off your wrist.
Nando.
I mean, I done seen, some good ones, Brett, Aaron, spin it off the wrist. Definitely. So just talk to us a little bit about how his development been going.
Fernando, I think he's picking up pretty well, especially behind Kirk. He having a chance to actually sit behind Kirk and just to learn. And I think that's going to work in his favor the best. I think Clint got a great plan for him and everything like that. And the more and more reps he take, the better he's going to be overall. Getting the ball on time, he's going through his reads, the progressions and everything. And the more and more reps he have, I think he's going to continue to get better.
It seems like one of the biggest positions where we're seeing a battle is at the cornerback position across from Eric Stokes. A lot of young, versatile corners battling for that job. Tell me who you see that stands out. I mean, we've been hearing names like Hezekiah Massis back there. Jamal McCoy is back there. What opportunities are you seeing, and what are you seeing from them that makes you think it's promising?
Honestly, all of those guys are doing well. I don't want to leave nobody out or overlook anybody. But
Darian Porter.
Kind of know, DP. We kind of know that side of when it comes to that side of playing cornerback, it's kind of up for grabs. It's competition. So a lot of those guys are going at it each and every day to try to win a spot. So competition just pretty much bring out the best of all three of those guys, 3 or 4. And they continue to get better. That's all we can ask for. I don't want to overlook nobody, but everybody is doing their job and getting better, I'll say.
I'm really high on the defense, man. So, no pressure. Don't let me down. But I'm really high on the defense. You got
Yeah, you like you said, that's smart because it shows that it's instilled in them that we mentality instead of that me mentality or that I or that one person or isolation. It's like all those guys are doing what's required of them, and then like Coach Kubiak said, let them decide who's going to end up getting that spot.
Right. I mean, and he's not blind to it. He knows that there is a, in reality, there is an open spot there. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, hey, all those guys are putting in the work. You know what I'm saying? And they probably are. You know what I'm saying? So that's good that, and it, all the stuff he says out here, he still has to go back to that locker room. So
You ain't lying.
that's the other thing too. Like, hey, I heard that press conference you said, you know what I'm saying? So like he's like, hey, I ain't gonna step on nobody's toes right now, you know what I'm saying? And especially
Right.
because they didn't really ask like a specific, like, oh, how is so and so specifically. So he was
Right.
able to, kind of get away with it without giving any information on how a specific corner is doing. You know what I'm saying?
Like I was just telling Amber, I feel like it's the best linebacker core in the business, not just because you're standing here, but you got two dudes that can cover, go sideline for sideline, and come down here and smack stuff.
For sure.
And then not only that, you add, Quay and obviously 98, Max Crosby up there at front. So just tell us what's the expectations of this defense, man. I feel like this defense has a chance to be a top 10 defense.
For sure.
I mean, if y'all handle y'all business and stay healthy.
Definitely. Exactly what you just said. Top down, man, we just got a certain standard that we're trying to upheld, especially with us coming in, trying to change the culture and get it back to the Raider way and play ball the way it should be played. You know what I'm saying? That no offense to anybody who came before us, but we're just trying to change the culture here, especially on the defensive side of the ball. A lot of teams, I feel like, organizations, however you want to put it, they're getting away from just believing that a defense can actually win championships. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just so much focused on the offense. It's an offensive league, and I kind of get that. You know what I'm saying? You can't score points, you can't win, but if you can't stop nobody, you can't win either.
True facts.
So just trying to get to that point, man, and just keep on continue to put it together. Although you look on paper, we got some great names, and we know what we uphold, but it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to do it. So,
I like Quay Walker. He's intelligent. A lot of times linebackers they get a rap of not being not that smart.
Right.
And he's really articulate. He's smart. He sounds calculated. It doesn't sound like he's trying to when I say calculated, I mean like he's thinking about what he's saying, and it's not like he's trying to be like PR or PC totally. But I just think that he's really a smart guy, and I think his issue is not his play, is just the health concern. Because anytime you can get one linebacker that could go from sideline to sideline, cover and run downhill, that is a blessing. And to have two of those guys, those are multiple force multipliers.
Yeah, and I like that. I agree with you, Black. I think he's you could tell that he's bought in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
It's not just bought into Clint Kubiak. He's actually, it seems like, he's diving deeper into, what the old school Raiders were and the people that came before him. You know what I'm saying? So only time will tell, how it will pan out, you know what I'm saying, for him. But I like the basis of what I'm getting from him is that he's bought in, not just to what Clint Kubiak is telling him, but diving into the rich culture of the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people miss that aspect of our team, is that we got a rich culture. You know what I'm saying? And take a second to go, watch some of them old tapes and watch, you know what I'm saying, people like Lester Hayes and Lala Zato, and you know what I'm saying, like go dive into all that. And I'm not saying we need to go back to those old ways, because some of those old ways can't play in this league, you know what I'm saying, but there's certain things certain things you can glean from the things of old.
Yeah, and if you want to start looking at the history of the Raiders, you can start at those Super Bowls. Go watch a documentary, not necessarily the game. I mean, the game is, of course, always good to watch, but watch what those teams, how they went about their business. Like one of the things that I know stick out in my mind is like they all had a job and they all had a role, and if they all did their role, then it comes together as a culmination as a team unit, and they just really bought in, especially back then. It's easy. It's easy to get caught up in the Raider mystique because, especially during that time, like you say, some things that we can't do now that they did then. They was like, "Oh, we get to act up over here. Don't worry about the penalty. Just play. Like, just go hard. Like, put the quarterback on his back. Just play rough. Play football, like old school football." So yeah, go check that history out. Our history is rich, 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 rich.
Something we can stick to.
You mentioned the Raider Way as a new guy. Who helped you learn exactly what the definition of it is, and what made you first start to feel that and
Great
that I
question.
might fit into that persona? Because it's a persona.
Honestly, Clint. So in OTAs, it was so just about every day we'll go over every position group, and we just always go back to the history of the guys who played before us, so we can get a better understanding of what it means to play for a Raider, what it means to be a Raider. And so we just been picking up on that. And the more and more videos and everything, I've been getting caught up on that. It just allowed me to get a better understanding of what it takes to be a Raider. So that's pretty much all I can say.
And plus, it's kind of hard to escape it because when you walk in those buildings, you see all over the wall the history. They got videos playing all over the place about our history. Then you have the players in the league that played just roaming around the halls or showing up there, and it's entrenched. So I think the Raiders have always done a good job of the once a Raider, always a Raider mentality, and not letting go of that. Because if one thing we haven't done is try to get away from the culture. Now, the business side of it, that's a little something different. But as far as football and the players and things like that, I think they do an excellent job of maintaining that throughout the years.
There were some bad dudes back in the day.
Yeah, definitely. Now I kind of understand it right away.
Now you get it. Back in the day, that's for sure. No teeth. I mean, they didn't even play hockey. They were just linebackers.
Straight grit.
No teeth, no mouthpiece.
That's right.
Straight grit.
Quay Walker, thanks so much for being here with us. I know Raider Nation is really excited to have you lining up there.
Appreciate y'all.
Welcome to Vegas.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
All right, we're going to take a break here from Raiders training camp. When we come back, we'll be talking about the wide receiver core. Trey Tucker joins us. You don't want to miss anything.
In the Raider Foundation.
Rock.
Trust me. Touchdown!
Take the Raiders with you wherever you go. Download the Raiders and
You got the commercials.
Google Play. Preseason of camp, and we're joined now by Trey Tucker.
Oh, God.
Back at Raiders training camp as practice just ended, the fifth practice of the preseason of camp, and we're joined now by Trey Tucker. And Trey, it's hard to believe you're kind of the veteran on the staff now, the longest tenured wide receiver on the roster. The first day of pads, how was it different? What adjustments do you make when you really start to get hit?
Yeah, like you said, the first day of pads always an adjustment. Just like the first day of training camp.
What's up, brother?
Remind you, how beautiful football is. Because I feel like, during the spring and early in training camp, you don't really get to see everything because there's no pads on. So you want guys to stay up and do those kind of things. But when the pads come on, you get to hit a little bit, and it's real football. So for me to be able to get out there, you always feel a little like, oh man, like I haven't been in pads in forever. But that goes away in a day, and then you just keep rolling.
Talk to us a little bit about your role, not just on the field, but as a leader now, too. You walked into the locker room, and you had Devontae Adams. You had guys like that. When you walked in here, you had EB. You had leaders in there now. You almost pushing Onk status. They almost going to start calling you Onk in a minute.
Slow down, JJ.
But tell me how, kind of your leadership role and how things have kind of changed for you being the, longest tenured wideout in there.
Yeah, you know, like they always say, it really means something to wear the shield. So, you know, to be able to wear the shield that long, and you know, that means a lot to me. So, when new guys come in the room, you know, whether they come from a different team or we draft them, you know, I have to let them know, like, you know, like the shield, it means something. So, but like you said, for me, honestly, the guys that I had in my room coming as a rookie, you know, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, EB, like, I mean, that's a blessing to have all those guys in the room. And, you know, so I got to see what the standard's supposed to look like. And I'll never forget coming out to practice and watching Devontae Adams practice. I'm like, that's why he's an all-pro. That's why he's the best. But Jacoby, Hunter, all those guys. So I know the standard, you know, and EB, you know, he helped so much throughout the, you know, my early part of the process to, you know, be able to give back to young guys. Even though I'm still young, but, you know, I've been here for going on 4 years. So just how can I help, you know, and really the rookies, like I remember the mistakes that I made as a rookie, the growing pains that I had, and, you know, how can I, you know, accelerate those and they can learn from it.
We know what Clint Kubiak's offense looked like. It won the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit different here, but same philosophies. When you know what he does, what you see what he's implementing here, where do you think you will be the most successful? How would they use you the best?
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, wherever they need me to be. You know, that's the thing about Clint's offense. It's very multiple. Guys are going to be everywhere. So if he needs me to play at tight end, I'll play tight end. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter. Just wherever he needs me to be. And, you know, I'm going to do my best to put my best foot forward and go out there and, you know, be a good team player.
You got a young receiver room. I know a lot of talk. Kurt came out. He talked about Malik Benson. Said he was making some plays out there, looking good. You being in the room, which one of those young guys that you can see, like, man, he could step up and got a true chance to really help us offensively?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there goes one of those questions that you asking about a specific person, but why at every interview I hear that lawnmower?
Hey, you know, shout out to the Las Vegas Raiders. You know what I'm saying? They lawnmowers have flow masters on them. You know what I'm saying? And they like to run them during press conferences and interviews. So you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Las Vegas Raiders for putting flow masters on their lawnmowers. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't buy a lawnmower that was quiet. Like there's no equipment in the world that ain't quiet. Like, yeah, but shout out to the Raiders for
Yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to the Raiders for adding floor masters to their lawnmowers.
I mean, like, come on. I mean, like, I get it though. It gets hot. The later I lived in Vegas for 7 years, right? And I know as every minute goes by, the hotter it gets. So I get it. They want to get it done. And shout out to the Raiders for using natural grass. I'm not complaining about that at all. But that grass got to be as perfect as Tim Brown's fade all career, because not one grass is out of place as much as they cut that grass. And because they do it all through every interview. Like it don't matter whether they're at the podium or if they sitting looking at the grass. Now we got to see the lawnmower. So like you said, shout out to the Raiders for having them flows on that lawnmower.
As much as they cut the grass, does the grass grow that fast? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we heard a press conference the other day, and the lawnmower was going. So like, what growth on the grass that they needed to cut it every day? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying, like, if it's that hot out there in Vegas, and I know it's that hot out there in Vegas, you know, maybe you just need to make the lawnmower guys be the night crew. You know what I'm saying? Have them come in at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night to go, you know what I'm saying? Put the lights on the grass so they can cut the grass, and they ain't even gotta be around a whole bunch of people. Like, why you gotta do it right during camp? Like, yeah, that part.
Yeah, they were there earlier today too, because I did the presser with Clint Kubiak, so that was also today. And I don't know if they did this interview simultaneously. It could be possible, but yeah, let them come in at like 8, 9 o'clock, 7:30 or something like that, and go in. Since you got flows on it, you may as well put the high beams on it too. Like, that's crazy. And I've seen many fans talk about this noise, so I know it's a real thing.
Malik Benson, as you said, He's like a mini me. You know, he can run all day. He's fast. He's going to be a really good player for us, and he's showing up every day. And you know, I challenge him every day, you know, to continue to want to get better, and he does. And that's what I love about him. Another guy, EJ, you know, EJ Williams. You know, he's coming along. He's making plays. You know, he has all the size and you know all the intangibles. You know, and, I'm very excited to see him continue to progress because. The main thing you want to see from these young guys is the consistency.
Yeah.
You can make a play one day, but training camp's 50 days.
100%.
You make a play every day, you know, and those are the guys we're looking for because, you know, the NFL is a long season.
Yep.
JJ told a story earlier in the show about being a young receiver coming into the NFL. I know you've been here a couple years, but do you have a moment where you were in training camp and you're like, I'm going to show him what's up, and you were young and there was a grown man on defense. For him, it was Charles Woodson. He said, I ran the best route of my life, and he picked me off. Was there a moment like that for you? And is that kind of for every rookie will have that moment somewhere in camp?
For sure. I'll never forget my first joint practice. We were playing the 49ers rookie year, and we're going to one-on-ones. And the very first rep, I pretty much got put in the coolers by one of their DBs. And he kind of like quick jammed me. And that's when I realized, like, okay, like, welcome to the NFL. Like, you know, it's different. Like, you don't just run off the ball and beat guys with speed. You know, it's just different. So you have to have a plan every time you come up to the line of scrimmage. And I think guys, honestly, when you're a younger guy, it's a little more too. Like, you know, it's just you can't let older guy can't let a young guy beat him. So, but yeah, that was my moment.
Who was the DB? Do you remember?
I do not remember. No, I do not remember. I just remember it was during a one-on-one session, and I just remember. Said hut, and I was next to a cooler. So,
well, let me tell you this. Even if I did remember, I ain't telling you.
I mean, Trey Tucker's, you know, a smaller wide receiver anyway. So him coming into the league, he was even smaller than what we see right now. You know what I'm saying? Like Trey actually has been pumping some iron and got a little bigger. So yeah, I can definitely see, you know what I'm saying, a young, you know what I'm saying, rookie Trey Tucker getting a taste of the Gatorade.
Right.
Start to get hit.
Yeah, like you said, the first day of pads is always an adjustment. Just like the first day of training camp. It reminds you, you know, how beautiful football is, you know, because I feel like, you know, during the spring and, you know, early in training camp, you don't really get to see everything because there's no pads on. So you want guys to stay up and do those kind of things. But when the pads come on, you get to hit a little bit, and it's real football. So for me to be able to get out there, you know, you always feel a little like, oh, man, like I haven't been in pads in forever. But that goes away in a day, and then you just keep rolling.
Talk to us a little bit about your role, not just on the field, but as a leader now, too. You walked into the locker room and you had Devontae Adams. You had guys like that. When you walked in here, you had EB. You know, you had leaders in there now. You know, I mean, you almost pushing Onk status. They're almost going to start calling you Onk in a minute.
Slow down, JJ.
But tell me how, you know, kind of your leadership role and how things have kind of changed for you being the, you know, longest tenured wideout in there.
Yeah, you know, like they always say, it really means something to wear the shield. So, you know, to be able to wear the shield that long, and, you know, that means a lot to me. So when new guys come in the room, you know, whether they come from a different team or we draft them, you know, I have to let them know, like, you know, like the shield, it means something. So, but like you said, for me, honestly, the guys that I had in my room coming as a rookie, you know, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, EB, like, I mean, that's a blessing to have all those guys in the room. And, you know, so I got to see what the standard's supposed to look like. And I'll never forget coming out to practice and watching Devontae Adams practice. I'm like, that's why he's not pro. That's why he's the best. But Jacoby, Hunter, all those guys. So I know the standard, you know, and EB, you know, he helped so much throughout the, you know, my early part of the process to, you know, be able to give back to young guys. Even though I'm still young, but, you know, I've been here for going on 4 years. So just how can I help, you know, and really the rookies, like I remember the mistakes that I made as a rookie, the growing pains that I had, and, you know, how can I, you know, accelerate those and they can learn from that.
We know what Clint Kubiak's offense looked like. It won the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit different here, but same philosophies. When you know what he does, what you see what he's implementing here, where do you think you will be the most successful? How would they use you the best?
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, wherever they need me to be. You know, that's the thing about Clint's offense. It's very multiple. Guys are going to be everywhere. So if he needs me to play at tight end, I'll play tight end. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter. Just wherever he needs me to be. And, you know, I'm going to do my best to put my best foot forward and go out there and, you know, be a good team player.
You got a young receiver room. I know a lot of talk. Kurt came out. He talked about Malik Benson. Said he was making some plays out there, looking good. You being in the room, which one of those young guys that you can see like, man, he could step up and got a true chance to really help us offensively?
Yeah, Malik Benson, as you said, he's like a mini me. You know, he can run all day. He's fast. He's going to be a really good player for us, and he's showing up every day. And you know, I challenge him every day, you know, to continue to want to get better, and he does, and that's what I love about him. Another guy, EJ, you know, EJ Williams, you know, he's coming along, he's making plays, you know, he has all the size and, you know, all the intangibles, you know, and I'm very excited to see him continue to progress because the main thing you want to see from these young guys is the consistency.
Yeah.
You can make a play one day, but training camp's 50 days.
100%.
You make a play every day, you know, and those are the guys we're looking for because, you know, the NFL is a long season.
Yep.
JJ told a story earlier in the show about being a young receiver coming into the NFL. I know you've been here a couple years, but do you have a moment where you were in training camp and you're like, I'm going to show him what's up, and you were young and there was a grown man on defense? For him, it was Charles Woodson. He said, I ran the best route of my life, and he picked me off. Was there a moment like that for you? And is that kind of for every rookie will have that moment somewhere in camp?
For sure. I'll never forget my first joint practice. We were playing the 49ers rookie year, and we're going to one-on-ones. And the very first rep, I pretty much got put in the coolers by one of their DBs. And he kind of like quick jammed me. And that's when I realized, like, okay, like, welcome to the NFL. Like, you know, it's different. Like, you don't just run off the ball and beat guys with speed. You know, it's just different. So you have to have a plan every time you come up to the line of scrimmage. And I think guys, honestly, when you're a younger guy, it's a little more too, like, you know, it's just, you can't let older guy can't let a young guy beat him. So, but yeah, that was my moment.
Who was the DB? Do you remember?
I do not remember. No, I do not remember. I just remember it was during a one-on-one session, and I just remember said hut, and I was next to a cooler. So, and after that,
that'll
it
humble you
for me. Yep.
Yeah.
You knocked the Mario coins out of him.
100%. Hold composure. No punches. No.
Ready to fight. You take me to the cooler. It's a fight. Kubiak said Kurt is Kurt's job, at least right now. It's Kurt's job. Just talk to us a little bit about Kurt, man. Your chemistry with, you know, Kurt, how that's coming along, and, you know, the demand of the offense. How's he been out there?
Yeah, Kurt's been great. He a great addition for us. You know, he's a great team guy, you know, and I think that's going to make us better as a team because, you know, just his leadership style, you know, how smart he is. He's very smart, and one of the smartest guys I've been around. Yeah. Knows ball, and I just love his demeanor. Like you never know a play's bad with Kurt. You know, that's what you want. You know, he keeps the room steady. So I was very pleased by the addition when we got him, and you know, for our young guys to learn from him too. Myself, you know, the other receivers, you know, the other quarterbacks we have. He's definitely a guy that's gonna make us all better.
How much of a responsibility do you guys feel as receivers to show up, not in the sense that that's your job, you know, to have a productive game, but also knowing that if you emerge and you are productive, that you are protecting Brock Bowers in a lot of ways?
Yeah, you know, I think we'll all go hand in hand. Like, you know, there'll be some games, you know, where he's going to have a big game and do what he does, and Jalen, myself, other guys. And I think that's really what you want. You don't want the defense to be able to just hone in on one guy. And everyone knows he's a superstar. So for us, it's just everyone doing their part, and he's going to do his part. I'm going to do my part. Jalen's going to do his part, you know, Mike, Ashton, you know, and just keep the offense balanced. I think we have the players to do that. And that'll be our job, to keep it balanced, you know, so you don't know who's getting the ball when or whatever, and just play good football.
How's the offense coming for you? Because I was out there watching the offense, and you're in another year of different terminology, different schemes and all that, you know, so you got to learn a whole different scheme and different terminology. And not only that, it was probably out of 15 plays I watched, it was probably one play without no motions, no movement. So how's that process coming along? You grasping the offense and getting more comfortable in the offense and things like that?
Yeah, you know, that's one of those things where I feel like we all run the same plays. Yeah. It's just like you said, different terminology. So the main thing is just being able to pick up the words. You know, a stick route is a stick route. Yeah. It's just called different than here to there. And there's a lot of differences in, you know, some of the stuff we do. But yeah, like, you know, Clint's offense is very versatile. It's very, you know, the guys are everywhere, you know. So you definitely got to study a lot more, but that's just the expectation, and that's, you know, what they expect out of us. So and that's going to help us, because they won't allow defenses to just say, hey, this is what they do. You know, they're very multiple. They have a lot of things, and makes the defense weak preparing for us hard.
I find that every great player no matter how great of a season they had, they go into the next season having focused on something pretty specific in the offseason. Whether it's George Kittle at one point telling me in between seasons that he was focusing on the point of catch transition, move it upfield, right? There's one little thing like that for every great player. For you, is there something that this season you really focused on in the offseason?
I think every year, there's things that you look at and, you critique. And for me, every year it's just doing better than what I did last year. And, I know that's broad, but honestly, I mean that because at the end of the day, I want to win. I can have, 0 targets, 0 catches, but if we're winning and winning a lot of games and winning the big games, I'm perfectly fine with that. So for me, I would say the little things, just being very dominant, just being very dominant, in everything that I do, being all around, and, just imposing my will when the time is there, and just being the best that I can be.
Well, Trey, thanks so much for stopping by. I know a lot of people are excited to see what you can do here with this receiving core, with this quarterback in this offense. It's going to be a new day for the Raiders, and we're looking forward to it.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, that'll do it for us. For James Jones, I'm Amber Theo Harris. Be sure to catch us next time. We'll be back on Thursday from...
Okay, Thursday it is. So, Amber Theo Harris knows more football than some people that I know. A lot of people I know. She's a real good interviewer, and I like that combination there. So, what's your overall thoughts about that so far?
I mean, it's just preaching everything that we kind of continue to gather is that it's really a team effort all the way around. You know what I'm saying? Trey Tucker is definitely taking on the leadership role. Some of the Trey Tucker slander is beyond me when he's the most productive wide receiver we had last year. But I'm expecting for him to have a great season with us. I think there's something that Clint Kubiak has in mind for Trey Tucker, and I think Trey Tucker is ready to take on that role. So, I'm honestly high on Trey Tucker. You know what I'm saying, especially in this offense. But yeah, in totality, both of those guys are leaders, and they all preach team. So I'm if they're preaching team, then you can kind of allude that majority of the guys that are around are following suit.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's gonna trickle from the top down, and if your leaders are like that, that's the standard. The standard is a standard, and you're gonna be there as long as you live up to the standard. So yeah, I do like the maturity of Trey Tucker now. Because granted, he going into his 4th season. This is a contract year for him. I'm glad to not hear conversations about that.
Right.
Just so he can focus on football and let the results be the results. And I think he's going to have good results. I want to ask you, though, who do you think is going to have more yards, him or Naylor?
That's a good question. And the reason why I say that's a good question is because Kirk Cousins does have a rapport already with Naylor, and it's already been expressed that Kirk Cousins talked to Naylor and said, hey, I'm going to be relying on you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how much bias there will be in regards to Naylor getting the ball, but I think Trey Tucker may be. I think they're going to be close. I don't think there's going to be a huge gap in between each other. But I think Trey Tucker may possibly get yardage wise, number wise. I think Trey Tucker might be the producer.
Yeah, I'm looking for Trey Tucker to get 1,000 yards. For some reason, I think Naylor definitely has the ability to really make a big jump, but I don't know if it's going to be a jump from 450 yards or whatnot to 1,000 yards.
Right.
But I do think Trey Tucker can get there, and not to mention he has the ability to take the top off the defense because if you get to seeing him run these crossing routes and quick outs and things like that, like the route we just saw him run earlier, and then you creep up a little bit, and then you put him in another position, send him in motion, and he take off. Then those are big chunk plays. So for some reason, I think Tucker's going to have 1,000 yards, so I would have to pick Tucker, like you said, but it's not going to be a big gap. But it's still going to be a breakout year for Naylor for the simple fact that he's been under the shadows of two really, really good wide receivers in Minnesota.
Right.
But also to the fact that Kirk is familiar with him. It's something about being, I mean, like that's why they brought in Tyler Lockett last year for Geno, because we weren't able to get the ball off, but Lockett knew the type of quarterback he was dealing with. So you can look at that guy and throw him the ball and you have confidence that it's not going to get picked off. So I don't know. It might, it's going to definitely be close. I agree with you on that. It's definitely going to be close. I don't know. I don't know if Naylor can get 1,000 yards, so I'm going to have to lean with Trey Tucker. But I do think that Naylor is going to have a good year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, and again, I think Clint Kubiak has something specifically in mind for Trey Tucker. So, because when Clint Kubiak came over here, like that was one of the number one guys he kept talking about. It was like Trey Tucker, you know what I'm saying? I like Trey. So there's something that he has in his mind, you know what I'm saying, on how he wants to use Trey Tucker. And I think it might be because as much as we want to use Brock Bowers is going to get a lot of eyes on him. So what are these other guys around him, these other pieces, the Naylors, the Tuckers, you know what I'm saying, the Beshes, you got to eat. So it might be a look at Brock Bowers, but then Brock Bowers ain't, if you don't feel comfortable with it, go look at Trey. You know what I'm saying? It might be something like that on a play-to-play basis, but I think that might be some of the reasons why our wide receivers are producing. Definitely.
Yeah, no doubt. So I guess day 2 tomorrow in pads. We're gonna see what they talking about. See if it's gonna clean up some things, because it was some things that to be expected in the first day of pads. The defense want to hit, really being overly aggressive.
Right.
Maybe that'll tone down a little bit, because it's not gonna tone down too much. Because, like I said, once the real football, it's nothing like being hit. Like that lets you know it's football. Like we saw earlier with the route, the guy caught the ball, got hit out of bounds. You feel good. It's like you don't wake up until you get that first hit. And so now today was a wake up day, and let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see if the offense can really dominate tomorrow. Because sometimes it takes the offense a little time, and you got to understand there's going to be vanilla plays and things like that, but you still got to win your rep as a wide receiver.
Yeah, and I think the thrill of the first day in pads is always, excitement. But I think eventually, and I know these coaches are probably going to say that is like, hey, we got in pads the first time. Yeah, you got excited. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, you blew your load or whatever you want to call that. But then now it's time to execute. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
Let's settle down and execute. You know what I'm saying? The excitement is over. You already had your fun in pads. Let's execute now. So that's probably the message that's going to be preached to these guys. You know what I'm saying, when they get back into their get back into camp.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. So we're going to see what they do tomorrow. We're going to get some information, some updates. We're going to pull back up. We've been working really, really hard. So if you team playback, make sure y'all hit the like button on the way back. I want to thank We the People for pulling up on this late night. Cool Kev, AP, Anthony Provincial. Thanks for pulling up, my brother, hacking in. We got our my mod and member Alfredo. He joined today, so appreciate that. So look for good content for you guys. That's especially for the members. And Frank Webb pulled up. Justice for 12, always supporting your boy. And I want to thank you, Twuan, for always supporting me as well, bro, because I really appreciate it, because it means a lot to me, man, for real, because, I call you and life be lifing for people, and it's difficult. So I want to appreciate you, brother, every time.
Likewise, man. This is only just the beginning, man, of where this is going. But same thing, man. The same stuff you saying to me is the same thing I can say about you. So, much love to you and thank you, for real.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you for saying that as well, and I'm getting that same sentiment throughout the team. So we locked in, laser focused. Like I always say, thank y'all for hacking into the show. We appreciate your love. We appreciate your loyalty. Y'all already know it's one nation. That's the Raider Nation, all day, every day. Because I'm a Raider, Twuan a Raider, you a Raider, whether they be from the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. I'm a Raider though.
I'm a Raider, from the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. Recipes to Al Davis.